The story of Melania Trump's immigration to the United States has been in the news for many years, but in the big 2025, it became a hot topic again when Representative Jasmine Crockett, a Democratic congresswoman from Texas, raised questions about how Melania Trump got a special kind of U.S. visa. Crockett said the numbers and facts about Melania's visa ain't mathing. She wondered how Melania could qualify for a visa that is usually for people with extraordinary achievements. So in this special video, we will explain what the Einstein visa is, how Melania Trump got it, why people are questioning it. The Einstein visa is not its real name. The real name is the EB-1 visa. The U.S. government created this visa for people who have extraordinary ability in certain fields. The official name is the Employment-Based First Preference Visa, or EB-1. The United States gives out about 40,000 EB-1 visas every year. This number is for all three groups together. The exact number changes from year to year, but it is always in the tens of thousands. For example, in 2016, the year before Donald Trump became president, the U.S. gave out about 40,000 EB-1 visas. In 2017, the number was about the same. Of these, about 2,000 to 3,000 went to people in the extraordinary ability category each year. The EB-1 visa is one of the most prestigious immigration options for people who want to live and work permanently in the United States. This visa is part of the U.S. employment-based green card system, which is divided into 5 preference categories from EB-1 to EB-5. The EB-1 category is the first preference and is specially designed for people who have reached the top of their fields. This includes scientists, artists, educators, business leaders, athletes, outstanding professors and researchers, and multinational executives or managers. But what are these so-called rules for extraordinary ability? To get an EB-1 visa for extraordinary ability, you must show that you are one of the best in your field. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has a list of 10 things they look for. You need to prove at least 3 of these, or you can show that you have won a big international prize, like a Nobel Prize or an Olympic medal. When the government reviews someone's application for an extraordinary ability visa, they usually look for certain types of achievements or recognition to determine if the person truly stands out in their field. One strong sign is if the person has received a major award for excellence, something that shows they're among the very best. Being a member of selective associations that only accept individuals with proven, outstanding accomplishments also counts as a sign of distinction. They also consider whether the person's work has been featured in major news publications or if they've been invited to judge the work of others in their profession, which suggests a high level of respect and expertise. Making original and important contributions to the field, something that advances knowledge or practice, is another key factor. Writing articles in well-known or respected journals or publications, and having work displayed publicly in exhibitions or showcases can also help demonstrate extraordinary ability. Playing a leading or essential role in organizations with a solid reputation is considered another mark of professional excellence. Earning a high salary compared to others in the same field is often taken as a sign that the person's skills and work are especially valued. And for those in the performing arts, having commercial success, such as popular or profitable performances, can also support their case. Importantly, a person doesn't need to meet all 10 of these criteria, even if they fulfill just 3 of them, as long as they can clearly show that they are among the top professionals in their field. They may still qualify for the visa. Melania Trump was born in Slovenia in 1970. She started modeling when she was a teenager. In the 1990s, she came to the United States to work as a model. At first, she had a different kind of visa called an H-1B, which is for skilled workers. In 2001, Melania applied for and received an EB-1 visa. At the time, she was not yet married to Donald Trump, but she was dating him. She was working as a model in New York City. She had appeared on the cover of British GQ magazine and in Sports Illustrated in 2000. She was also in some other magazines and advertisements. It is important to know that Melania was not as famous as supermodels like Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell. But she was a working model who had some success. The main reason people are questioning Melania Trump's visa is because the EB-1 is supposed to be for people with extraordinary ability. Many people think of Nobel Prize winners, Olympic athletes, or world-famous artists when they hear this. They wonder if Melania's modeling career was really at that level. Representative Jasmine Crockett said in a hearing, "You're supposed to have some sort of significant achievement, like being awarded a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer, being an Olympic medalist, or having other sustained extraordinary abilities and success in sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics." She added, "Last time I checked, the First Lady had none of those accolades under her belt." Crockett also said, "Let me remind y'all that Melania, the First Lady, a model, and when I say model, I'm not talking about Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, or Naomi Campbell level, applied for and was given an EB-1 visa. The math ain't math in here. Some people believe that Melania Trump may have received special treatment because she was dating Donald Trump, a very rich and famous businessman. Others say that the rules for the EB-1 are not as strict as people think, and that many people who are not world famous have received this visa. When Melania Trump's visa became a news story in 2018, the New York Times spoke to several immigration lawyers. Most of them said that it is possible for a model like Melania to get an EB-1 visa, even if she is not a household name. One lawyer, Rita Sostrin from Los Angeles, said, "Recipients are supposed to be the best of the best, but meeting the criteria is no guarantee. An adjudication officer makes a judgment call." This means that even if you meet the rules, it is up to a government officer to decide if you are really extraordinary. Another lawyer, Marshall Cohen from Atlanta, said he would have taken Melania as a client without hesitation. He said, "I am assuming she made a lot of money, got a lot of press, and was on the cover of magazines. She was probably a pretty easy case." Cohen also said, "Do we need more foreign fashion models? Some might say no. We might need more chemical engineers, but if there is a fashion model at the top of her field, she could qualify." So while the EB-1 is sometimes called the Einstein visa, you do not have to be a genius or a Nobel Prize winner to get it. The purpose of the EB-1 visa is to attract the world's best talent to the United States. The U.S. government believes that bringing in people with extraordinary skills and achievements will help the country remain competitive in science, technology, business, and culture. The EB-1 visa is sometimes called the Einstein visa because it is meant for people with abilities or achievements similar to those of Albert Einstein, who was a famous scientist and immigrant. To qualify for the EB-1 visa, applicants must show that they have extraordinary ability in their field. This means they must have received national or international recognition and be among the top few percent of people in their area of expertise. The EB-1 visa is divided into three main subcategories. The first is EB-1A, for people with extraordinary ability in the sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics. The second is EB-1B, for outstanding professors and researchers. The third is EB-1C, for multinational executives or managers who are transferred to the U.S. by their companies. One special feature of the EB-1A subcategory is that applicants do not need a job offer from a U.S. employer. They can apply on their own, which is called self-petitioning, but they must show that they plan to continue working in their field after moving to the United States. The EB-1 visa is highly sought after because it offers several advantages. First, it provides a faster path to a green card compared to other employment-based visas. Second, it does not require a process called perm labor certification, which can take more than 2 years for other visa categories. Third, the EB-1A subcategory allows people to apply without a job offer, giving them more flexibility and independence. The number of EB-1 visas issued each year is limited by law. The U.S. government sets an annual cap for all employment-based visas, and the EB-1 category gets a share of this total. For example, in the fiscal year 2022, the worldwide initial limit for EB-1 visas was 80,511. An additional 2,700 unused numbers from the EB-5 category were added, making the adjusted EB-1 limit 83,211 for that year. However, only 54,137 EB-1 visas were actually used in 2022, so 29,074 unused EB-1 visas were transferred to the EB-2 category for use by other skilled workers. Looking at earlier years, the number of EB-1 visas issued has been increasing. In 2014, 1,680,000 EB-1 visas were issued at U.S. Foreign Service posts. This number rose to 3,854 in 2018. The numbers for EB-2 and EB-3 visas were also high, but the EB-3 category, which is for skilled workers and professionals, had the largest number of visas issued each year. The approval rate for EB-1 visa applications has changed over time. In fiscal year 2024, the overall EB-1 approval rate was about 76.1%. Out of 41,166 total petitions, 31,341 were approved, 5,370 were denied, and 18,735 were still pending at the end of the year. The approval rate varies by subcategory. For EB-1A, the approval rate was about 60.7%. For EB-1B, it was about 84.6%. For EB-1C, it was about 93.2%. The approval rate for EB-1A has dropped in recent years. In fiscal year 2023, the approval rate for EB-1A was 70.5%, but it fell to 60.65% in 2024. The denial rate increased from 19.35% to 23.32% during the same period. This shows that the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has become more strict in reviewing EB-1A applications. There are also more pending cases, which means longer processing times and more requests for additional evidence from applicants. One reason for the stricter review process is that the U.S. government wants to make sure only the most qualified people receive the EB-1 visa. Applicants must provide strong documentation such as major awards, published work, media coverage, and letters from experts in their field. Many denials happen because the evidence is not strong enough, or the letters of recommendation are too vague. The politics of the EB-1 visa have also played a role in how the program is managed. During the Trump administration, immigration policies became stricter, and the standard for approving EB-1 visas was raised. The number of requests for evidence and denials increased. When Joe Biden became president in 2021, his administration promised to ease some of the restrictions and make the process fairer. However, changes in immigration policy take time, and the approval rates for EB-1 visas have not returned to previous levels yet. The EB-1 visa is important for the United States because it helps attract people who can make significant contributions to the country. Many EB-1 visa holders have gone on to win Nobel Prizes, lead major companies, or make breakthroughs in science and technology. The U.S. government tracks the nationalities of EB-1 visa holders. For example, in 2022, Indian-born applicants accounted for 25.8% of all EB-1 visas used worldwide. Indian nationals also made up 54.2% of the EB-2 visas used that year. The application process for the EB-1 visa can be complex. Applicants must prepare detailed documentation and fill out several forms, including Form Y-140, which is the main petition for an employment-based green card. The process can take several months or even years depending on the applicant's country of birth and the number of visas available. Some countries, like India and China, have more applicants than visas available, so people from these countries may face longer waiting times. The cost of applying for the EB-1 visa includes government filing fees, which can be several hundred or even thousands of dollars, as well as legal fees if the applicant hires an immigration attorney. Many applicants choose to work with a lawyer because the requirements are strict, and the documentation must be very detailed to have the best chance of approval. As always, make sure to give this video a like, smash that subscribe button, and also ring that notification bell for more future content.